I am George Held. Hello, I'm happy to be here and happy that you are listening to me read. My first poem came to me when I was walking on Job's Lane in Southampton, and it's one of the poems in my new book, Phased, which will be published in 2008. All poems about the moon. Afternoon moon. 4:45 p.m., walking Job's Lane, Southampton. Azure sky after 2 days of April rain. Temperature rising, spring finally springing, and high above the red-budded maple tops, the silver three-quarter moon, almost transparent, steals the scene from the driver's seat and the parish museum, and the sidewalks crowded with window shoppers. And I think of Frank O'Hara and Fairfield Porter and the other stars of the cultural firmament who also strolled this street, heads springing ideas for poems or paintings, and for whom the late afternoon moon had to be just as corny an inspiration as for me. The next poem appears in the anthology edited by Dan Moran. The previous one was from Long Island Sounds. This poem is the first one in my book coming out in September called The Art of Writing and Others. It appeared first in Confrontation. On a Lock of Hair from the Walt Whitman Centennial Exhibition at the New York Public Library. Browsing the holographs and letters, stopping to peruse parts of them, reading the neatly typed public library cards, accompanying the displays in the glass-covered cases, admiring the bound books, the dark green binding of the 1855 Leaves of Grass, studying the photographs of the poet growing from young dandy to young old man, to the white-bearded sage of Mickle Street, I come upon the lock of hair he sent in his 73rd year to H. Buxton Foreman, folded into a sheet of the poet's yellow writing pad, and accompanied by a second sheet autographed 4 times, Walt Whitman, October 29, 91, America. And I think, so this is how that famous head of hair looked. Gray and white strands intermixed in ringlets like this one, about 4 or 5 inches in circumference and 2 or 3 in diameter, and soft as the hairs of a milkweed seed. No pious Christian ever prayed to touch a saint's digit more than I desired to touch this holy relic, remembering who touches this touches a man. The oldest human hair I've ever seen, my baby locks from 38, closer in age to Walt's than my sparse hairs today, 101 years later, as I try to catch him who waits for me. This next poem is from a book that was published in 2005, Grounded, and its title, Montauk Chiaroscuro, refers to the Italian term for works of art in black and white. A rock, hump big as a sea turtle, rides the tide by Montauk Point, lower half blacked by wet, upper whitewashed with guano. A great black-backed gull struts on the rock, head and breast white. A double-crested cormorant, black as ebony, lands beside him. They compose the black chop of sea, the azure sky with cotton cumulus on the horizon, the gray North Fork, the bleached beach. Along the strand, 6 towheads, teens in black spandex shorts and white tees, stroll, spy not the vista, but a target for their stones. The birds, the boys have flown. The clack of stone on rock yields its echo to the low hum of a distant fishing boat. And finally, this poem, another of my moon poems, which will be in an anthology of moon poems. It's called Inebriate's Delight. The full moon a bunghole, pouring vintage to earth. We drink it down in verse and song, refreshing soul. Thank you very much.